talk with you to discuss the importance of video in the recruiting process. And Ryan, today we're going to get into the key components of my video. And so as we start to talk about this, again, let's, reminding everybody that number one, you spent time with the U.S. national team in video analysis. So you understand the video analysis from a high level. As being a college coach for the last 28 years, I know what I'm looking for in that video. And more importantly, Ryan, I know what I don't want to see in video because of what needs to happen. So let's dive a little bit into what are those key components of my video. And the first thing I want to address from my standpoint as a coach, and you just to speak into this and your experience of why this is so important, that the reality is, let's talk about the hook, right? This video, I'm going to get, guys, I'm going to get 50 to 60 potential emails a day. And in those emails, I'm now getting video in the email because technology allows that to happen. If I don't get what I need in the first 30 seconds, I'm going to the next video. So Ryan, let's talk a little bit about the hook, the introduction to the video, what it shouldn't be and what it should be, and how are we going to get started with that video, and then even talk about the quality of the video that should be used for those highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So the hook at the very beginning of the video, it's really nice if you can show a little introduction to your video. Let's say that I don't need an introduction to my video because I've got all that information in my email. That's true. But what Christian just said, they're going through a ton of videos. What if the assistant coach sees that video, doesn't share the entire email over, but just shares the video link? And now they're missing some context. They don't know your name. They don't know where you're from. They don't know the year you graduate, right? So having an intro slide, nice, concise, clean at the beginning can be really good because you never know where that video is going to end up. Okay, but let's talk about that hook. When that's done and you start off and you're showing video, what does that hook mean? What does that mean? Okay, the hook means, just like anything, we're trying to capture the attention of the viewer in our video, right? The viewer in this case being someone on the coaching staff, okay? Someone that is looking to recruit us, okay? So that first clip, that second clip are very, very crucial, okay? I've spoken to Christian and other college coaches, right? In those first 30 seconds or first two clips, if they aren't showing what they're looking for that position, right, or in that athlete, they're on to the next, right? They've got 40 to get through. So we're trying to not only save them time, or really that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to save them time. So we've got to make it hit and show value and get them hooked. So the first highlight, want them to see the second one. Second highlight, we want them to see the third one. And then so on and so on. And you just want to keep them hooked for as long as you can. That is our goal. Keep them hooked as long as they can. Maybe they don't even watch the entire video. Maybe you've got 25 highlights on there and they watch the first 20. But if you can keep them through the first 20 and they've watched it, you've done something right. Okay. If they're stopping after the first 5, first 10, we haven't done something right. Okay. So how do we hook them? The very beginning, those first two highlights, it does depend on position to what you're showing, but it's got to hit hard. That's what I like to say. It's got to hit hard. How do you hook them? You got to hit it hard. So in each of those first two highlights, you want to show, if you can show physicality, athleticism, and speed, just show you doing something that's showing that you are an athlete. Okay. They want to see that. Okay. If you show them hitting hard, hitting fast. If you're attacking, it's showing you getting in and helping get in the goal, right? If you're defending, it's showing you close somebody down technically and you stop them from beating you, okay? You're not really wanting to show long plays, long possession plays, longer tactical stuff. We can get into that later, okay? The hook in the beginning is let's hit them hard, let's hit them fast, let's show what we can do really quickly. And then as we get them hooked, we can start to slow it down and show more highlights as we go.
Well, again, great. And let's talk a little bit about, as you've talked about the hook, right? Let's talk a little bit about your experience, and I can share my experience. The reality is, how long should this be? What is the ideal length of maybe and again, we're talking the highlight video right now. We're talking the hook highlight video, the first highlight video. You might actually have a couple of them, but how long should that first one be from your experience in terms of talking with coaches? I can give you my own personal belief, but I want to hear from you again, as you've talked to coaches across the country and your experience of doing thousands of videos. What is that ideal length?
Yeah. So we talk about ideal length, that's standard, and we may even differ on this, Christian, we'll see. But the ideal length in your traditional sense is going to be anywhere from 3.5 to 5 minutes, right? That 5 minutes, again, that would be including if you had an intro slide or a graphic slide at the beginning and the end for the athlete. But those highlights showing 3.5 to 5. So what does that time convert into, though? That's the real question. And that's what we do with our athletes and on our platform. We try not to list everything as a time. We try to list it as how many highlights do you need, right? That breaks it down and makes it a lot easier. If you're talking about the number of highlights, it breaks it down from somewhere between 12 to 24, right? I think 18 right in the middle is a good sweet spot. We like to show 18 of those, which again puts you around that 4 minute mark, 4.5 minutes. And then anything beyond 18 to 24, that's when you're showing more of the tactical and IQ side of the game. And you're kind of done showing all the technical abilities and stuff you've done. So if the coach wants to stop there, they can stop. The real challenge is, Christian, we've talked about this before, but the real challenge is if you have a video that pops up and a coach sees that it's 20 minutes long, okay, they're not necessarily going to be up for that. Okay, they're not going to watch that 20 minutes, but that's not necessarily, they're always going to throw it away. If it still looks really clean in the beginning and those first couple highlights are still getting them on the hook, then they're going to still continue to watch that for a little bit. Now, if they see the video is 20 minutes long, it's really long, and then the first one doesn't capture them, they're like, okay, not spending 20 minutes on this, I'm out. And again, it's nothing personal, but you have to value their time, right? And their time is not valued if you're sending them a 20-minute highlight video of stuff it's not of true importance. So again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but mine is sort of that 3.5 to 5 minute range for that initial highlight video that you're sending out. And again, I like to break it down from time to highlights, and it's that sweet spot around 18 to 20 highlights in that range.
Actually, yeah, I think you hit it right on the spot. I think if I talk to most coaches, when I've talked to coaches, for me, it's a 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minute pushes the extreme. I'll be honest with you. Let's say I'm getting 20 emails in a day, and at 5 minutes times 20, that's a couple hours that you're asking me to watch a video, and it's not going to happen.
Right.
My goal is, how do I identify quickly? Then do I want more video? And then, then I might ask for more video, or I might continue. What I love that you do that isn't talked about. And again, this is a golden nugget. If we can talk about golden nuggets that have been dropped today, been dropped in our last series, and I'm sure we're going to see some more drop. He didn't talk about time. He talked about the number of clips, right? Okay. It's the number of clips. And again, it's not just the number of clips. Does clip 1 take me to clip 2? Does clip 2 take me to clip 3? Does clip 3 take me to clip 4? I mean, that's the piece. So it's really the power and the hit in the first 5 clips. And if those first 5 clips are 10 to 15 seconds, that's the first minute. Is that first minute getting me to the minute 2? Mm-hmm. And then ultimately to minute 3. So let's talk about another one. And Ryan, this is one that came up. And even last week when we were doing a kind of a coaches panel and we were talking about video on coaches panel, again, multiple ideas on it. And I think it might be by what a coach likes to hear, not necessarily just whether they want to. You're putting the big background music, all of that. Is that something? Yes, no, maybe. Is it important? Is it really important in the grand scheme of things? Is it going to kill you if you don't? I mean, but I know that's a question that comes up. Should we have that background music in the video?
Yeah, short answer, and then I'll give you the long. Short answer, no, don't need the music. The music is great. It's cool to share with your friends. It's nice to say, hey, look what I can do. Of course, everyone loves music. I love music. But as far as sending it to the coaches, doing a music selection is more likely going to hurt you than help you. And Christian will tell you this. A lot of times they're watching it. They might be watching a highlight video through their phone in between sessions. They might be watching it between meetings or they might be doing it while they're doing something else, right? I mean, again, the time is limited. So the music won't necessarily even be on when they're listening to the video. It might be muted, it might be off. And if it is on, okay, well, now you have the chance of what type of music is being played, right? If that music has a higher chance of not resonating, you probably don't listen to the same kind of music that the coach listens to or thinks is relevant or deems as good music, right? So it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. So it's better to not worry about the music, just focus on the clips themselves. Now, if you have an easy way to put some kind of music track in there, it's nice and easy. Like, we get that, and it's a nice little music bed. We get that sounds better to everyone else. But short answer is no, you don't need the music. It's a nice little thing to add and have, but you don't need it. And Christian, if you want to touch on that, just from your standpoint, like what is your normal routine like when you're watching the videos? Do you have the music on? Have you ever seen a video and it had music and like, nope, not looking at this player because this music is horrendous?
I will say it depending on the type of music might turn me off a little bit. Usually I will have my volume is down on my computer when I'm watching some of the videos, so that the music is not important. But if I've had that music on and I get some loud kind of head banging, you're trying to grab my attention music, that's not going to work for me. That's just me. I think other coaches have different feelings. Some other coaches said, I can care less about the music. I just want to see the video. But what I can tell you is your music's really not enhancing the video, in my personal opinion. Now, I think I agree with you. If you're going to do a clip, number one, I'm just protecting you. You have to have rights to put music on some things, right? Sure. You could get in trouble if you don't have permission to use somebody's music. So just don't assume that you can put some type of track into the music. It could get flagged and you could get in trouble with that.
Or Christian, it gets flagged and then it gets taken down and and now coaches don't have access to your video and you think it's out there being shared and you're sending it out before an event coming up and now it's blocked, right?
Yep. So now there are you can go and purchase some tracks and if there's going to be any tracks, I think you go and purchase some of these tracks that might have kind of a little bit of an upbeat sound to them. I might actually share with you guys some tracks you can go get that you can put in behind the video. We can talk about that down the road, but I think, again, that's a question we get. And the reason why I want to talk about it, I want to get to a different type of question, Ryan, from your standpoint. Again, what should I not put in the video? What makes the video get turned off by a coach? Why? I'm done. I'm not watching anymore. So the idea of it's not just important what you put in a video. I want to talk about what you don't put in a video.
Yeah, I think keeping it simple is the best way to not have anything in there that's not needed. Okay, you don't need to put sound effects. You don't need to. We've seen it before where someone voices over what's happening in the play, or we've seen the transitions from clip to clip. A lot of different stuff. We'll see, people put descriptions like, they'll type out their own personal, where you can tell it's the parent that's typing something out. It's like all this added stuff. If it's done in a professional way, some of those things can work. We've got some professional ways that we do that. But when it comes off like it's like, just the parent doing some of these things and kind of overdoing it, it really just, you're spending a lot of time you don't need to, but also you can miss things, right? If someone transitions, if they they've got some video editing skills and they want to put a transition between one clip to the next. And now sometimes those transitions takes off a little bit at the end of one highlight and the beginning of the next highlight. And when it does that, you may miss something crucial that needed to be seen in that clip and so you're just adding more to it. So I would say those are some things to keep in mind. I'd say those are probably the main things. It's like, just keep it simple. You want an intro and you want clip to clip to clip. And one thing that we didn't mention is in each of those highlights that you're showing, make sure that you're spotlighting the player. Make sure that you are
next.
Okay. Well, I'll wait.
I was actually going to get that to that next. What are some of the biggest mistakes that happen, right? And so one of the biggest mistakes that happen is I don't know who you are. Yeah, I get videos. Here's my video. Again, I have a kid that wants to come and try out for us and be part of our program. Do you have some video? He sent me some video, says I'm the center back or right back, but doesn't highlight it on the video. I don't have time to figure out who you are. If I can't see who you are this quick and then watch the highlight, I don't have time for that. So again, let's get into those. What are some of the biggest mistakes that happen? The first one is not highlighting yourself, right? So the importance of highlighting yourself, and it's got to be that spot highlight, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that would be the first one. Even if I tell, well, you could say, well, there's only one right back on the field. Why do I need to spotlight myself? Well, the spotlight is helping show where you are. Anytime a new highlight starts, the coach is having to, or whoever the viewer is having to format the field and figure out what's what. Or is the team going this way? Is the team going this way? So is he the right back on this side of the frame, or is he the right back on this side of the frame? So you're trying to figure all those things out. Or sometimes you don't just play one position. You might move around a little bit. And with that, or maybe you're right back, but you've overlapped and you're further up the field. And now, they think you're the right wing and you're the right back. So spotlighting yourself, it just quickly shows, boom, this is where I am. The coach can kind of put it together. When on our platform, the spotlight actually does a quick little freeze frame. And again, what that allows is the coach to just kind of position everything and see where everything's at. Okay, there they are. Here's the rest of their team. They're going this way. They're about to receive the ball. And then the spotlight comes off and they continue to play. So that's a big one. And that's a big mistake that people don't realize that they need. A lot of times, actually, people do realize they need that. They just don't know the tools to use it, right? The other big mistake I would say that I see people do is they just don't have it organized. They just don't have it organized. They will have clips on their. I've seen players trying to keep it organized all on their phone through their camera roll, which is just insane to me because I'm pretty organized and I can do a lot on my phone. I can work on my phone all day, but keeping all those videos organized, that's really hard to do. And then we'll see it, people just have it on a camera, on a phone, or they keep their video, instead of getting their video organized onto some platform or even onto their folders on their computer, they keep all their video kind of saved on their SD cards or just on the camera still. And so I would say organization is a big mistake that people do, and they kind of let it get away from them. Let me throw out a third mistake here. The third mistake that I see a lot is it's not really even necessarily making the video. It's more of it's just people in general just starting too late to figure out how this process works. I think that's the biggest mistake. People just waiting too late. They're in and we're getting together and they're like, hey, yes, we're a senior. We just finished our last season. We realize we're way behind. I'd say that's the biggest mistake is people just not having people in their corner like us, like you. I'd say that's a big mistake that I see. They might have signed up for something, but it's just some random profile they signed up for, but there's no real help being done. And then they come to us and like, hey, we need somebody in our corner to help us get this done the right way. I'd say that's probably honestly the other big mistake I see. So
here's the other mistake that I will share, Ryan, because I think it's so important. You got to realize we already talked about the time in which we're trying to get this video, right? We want this video in that 3.5 to 4 minutes, 5 minutes maximum. I don't need to see the whole team celebrating the goal after you've scored the goal, right? You might be showing me 3 or 4 seconds, but you've wasted 3 or 4 seconds, right? You show me the goal shortly after the goal is scored. It needs to be going to the next clip. I get so many videos that are now showing the celebration. We're running to the flag. We're sliding. I don't need to see all of that information. And the other piece that might relate to that is some people like to replay it in slow motion.
That's a good one. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that one. And you reminded me of another one too. But yeah, so let me jump in. So the replay of showing something in slow motion. Look, if they're viewing it on our platform or something else, they can probably slow it down if they need to. You don't need to show that. They can rewatch it. They can go back a few seconds and watch the video again. You don't need to slow it down, because if you slow it down, you lose a lot of credibility in a lot of the rest of your clips and a lot of the rest of your highlights. Because if they know, oh, well, he slowed this one down, how do we know he didn't speed this shot up? How do we know he didn't? How do we know it's the true speed of any of these? So you want to show the true speed. You made a great point about the clip being too long. It is important, like show the play, get it done. But I would say, Christian, that more than that, the biggest mistake I would see, I can't believe I forgot this, is the clips being too short. So someone receiving the ball, the clip starts, after they receive the ball. Or if they go to make the pass doesn't actually get off their foot, right? They clip it early, okay? And I just want to make this reference that anyone that clips it early on the beginning or the end of that highlight, the coach is assuming that you lost the ball. Okay, they're assuming like, hey, if you clip this before you pass the ball, you just pass it to that player right in front of you, and that's assumed. So everything that we do, we try to tell players like, just don't. If it's something really, really good that you're doing, that's great. But if it's truly a good play, you should be able to show what you did before you got the ball, and you should be able to show like you delivering that ball to the next person, right? If you got into space, received the pass, if you then move and then make that next pass or get that shot off, you should be able to show that in the clip. So I would say I'm sure you see that a ton.
Yep.
I'm sure you see that a ton where the clips are just cut a little short and it's like, okay, but how did this play end, or how did it even start? And yeah, I'm sure you see that. I don't know if you want to speak on that at all, but.
No, I think that you brought up a great point of we're trying to get a big picture of what's happening. I think I've actually seen sometimes where even a great shot is taken, but there's something that went wrong on the shot didn't go in or whatever, and you kind of cut that off, or that pass that you made, we didn't see the ultimate end of what that pass looks like. So yes, those are important pieces that we need to be able to see the entire play. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, Ryan, and to wrap up today and today's lesson is, should they have full video prepared for a coach?
Yeah, I think it's always good to have that next step for the coach, right? If I'm sending Christian a highlight video, I want to make sure that if he does like it, I'm giving him the opportunity, or his coaching staff the opportunity, to see more video. If I don't share more video for him, or if I don't have it readily available, let's talk about the process, okay? Christian is a college coach. I send him a video, highlight video. He takes a look at it. He likes clip 1. He likes clip 2. He likes highlight 3. He keeps working. He likes them all. It's like, wow, okay, this is really good. His next step is not going to be to fly or drive to wherever you are to watch you play. Okay, his next step is actually going to see, can I see more video of this player? And that is typically in a longer formatted video. Okay, so you move from highlight video to that initial interest, got him on the hook. Okay, now let's see if there's really something here. And the next thing that college coach is going to do, the next thing Christian's going to want to do, is he's going to then want to go in, him or his coaching staff go in and watch a half or a full game of you play. Okay, so we always do that. We actually prepare it like that in our platform, where you basically go from your highlight reel tab to your games tab. When you move, when a coach watches that games tab, watches one of those full games, they might watch a half if they see what they need to see. If they don't quite see it, maybe they watch the full game. Again, you're asking the college coach to watch a lot, right? For one player, that's 90 minutes to watch a full game. So you can't expect, that's why we're getting them on the hook first. And when they watch that, they can watch through that all the way. We've got some tools on our platform where not only can they watch the full game, but they can actually skip to all of the interactions and moments where the player touches the ball. But that is huge. I think that's crucial. Even if you don't share it right away, you need to have that. If you're not using our platform, it's not available right away. If you do send a highlight reel and there's not a link to a full game, you need to have that ready. Worst case scenario, you have it ready. They follow back up with you and say, hey, do you have a half? Do you have a full game? And you can send that on. You don't want to be waiting a week or two if they reach out to you to get that video back to them. You want to have that full game ready, because now you got them on the hook and you don't want to lose it.
And you hit it the nail on the head. Is exactly that. You've hooked me. You've done your job. This is the movie trailer, right? I've got the movie trailer. Now I want to go to the movie. Oh, I got to wait 2 weeks before it comes out? Or it's no. I mean, again, we're talking about maximizing the time that a coach has to evaluate you, maximizing the time you have in front of a coach, maximizing the opportunity for a coach to be engaged with you. And if you put roadblocks into that process, you've missed an opportunity. So again, I think Ryan's very clear about this. We've talked about the Sports World platform. Ryan, we'll get into that later on.